your first in housing news.
It's another beautiful day in the capital city of Nigeria, Abuja, and this is Housing TV Africa. The program you're tuned on still remains Inside the Real Estate. Our topic for today is demystification of land banking. Do you know what is land banking? Do you know what land banking entails? Are there pros and cons of land banking? We are going to be exhausting details concerning land banking in this episode. The basis for our discussion today is on a government special announcement. The Greater Port Harcourt City Development Authority hereby informs all corporate and private individuals allotted lands for development in the Phase 1 area of the new city between 2009 and 2024 and have not developed their plots are all advised to commence development immediately. The authority is always ready and available to assist allottees with the necessary processes, documentations, and approvals to facilitate the development of their properties. As a responsible agency of government, the Greater Port Harcourt City Development Authority does not encourage land banking. Therefore, any allotment that is not developed within 2 weeks of this announcement will be revoked for immediate development in line with the new city master plan. We'll go for a very short break. When we come back, we are going to analyze these issues with our guests, which we'll introduce in a very short time. Please don't move on also. Stay with us.
From the capital city of Nigeria, Housing TV Africa has carved a niche for branding the name as the pioneer TV station, showcasing the beauty of architecture and design, thereby promoting the housing sector. With the state-of-the-art facilities to having professional and credible staff, together creating the component of digital broadcasting, Housing TV Africa, your housing dreams come true.
Welcome back to Inside the Real Estate on Housing TV Africa. I am your host, Raymond Ken Mbata. Our guest today is a real estate developer, an academic as well, but let's center on the real estate development aspect of his skills. In the person of Dr. Ajen Alamonia Ibieneye. You're welcome to Inside the Real Estate, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with you always, and to be with Africa, Nigeria, and River State in Port Harcourt.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, let's dive straight into the business of the day. What is land banking?
Land banking will best be defined or described as a strategic means of making wealth, in the sense that it's a system by which investment could be made, profits could be assumed, and people could actually earn a living out of it.
Okay. There are merits associated with land banking. Why do people zero in on land banking as against saving their money in banks, fixed deposit accounts, stocks and bonds, shares? Why should one choose the option of land banking as a means of saving revenue generation and making a profit.
If the drive is actually to discuss on how one could make or generate revenue from land banking, it could be seen as a means. It's like having a certain amount of money and depositing it in a bank. If you deposit it in a bank for a certain period, it is bound to accrue their interest, and based on the agreement that was before the client and the bank. Now, if you relate it to the land banking system, this could be done in a manner where land could be procured. And in fact, what I'm trying to say in essence is that if you look at land banking, you divide it, you can classify it into two groups or class. That's when the land is virgin, that is, nothing is on it, and the situation where you have buildings, where you could site various structures for respective reasons. Now, some of them are bent for leasing or maybe renting, while some is for outright sale. Now, either of them that you invest in, it is something that will definitely accrue, depending on who the agent or who is running the venture for you. Now, on the other hand, you also find situations where people tend to invest in land banking, and at the end of the day, they end up in regret. They end up in regret, to my mind, is because they have failed to work with the appropriate mind. In life, people normally indulge in businesses, and those who indulge in businesses, their mindset is purely on profit making. And there's nothing wrong in making profits in businesses you engage in. But if you now decide to engage in a business that is criminal, to our minds as managerial scientists, that is not a business. That is totally out of the structure. So if you want to go into land banking, you must understand that even if we are discussing on how to diversify the land banking situation, it is not something that one could just sit down here and let you know everything, even though one is willing. The fact is that every transaction has a way or routes for you to make profit in those ventures. If you, for instance, there is land A, or there is an office B, or maybe there is a structure for renting, you'll find out that because the parties concerned are not the same persons, the approaches are different. The way to actually achieve success is a landmark. And so for that reason, it is actually a fact that you must work with appropriate mind. But some of the guides that could be there is that if, for instance, a land is to be bought and the land has C of O, the agent has a role to play to guide the client on why and how such property should be acquired. Now, in some cases, you'll find out that the clients, they built their confidence more on their legal practitioner, that's their lawyer. And a lawyer is not an agent and cannot carry out the functions of an agent. So even if you have a lawyer, you must work more closely with the agent. Now, within the agency, you'll find some persons whom we consider as facilitators. Those people that can actually tell you that, oh, so land is for sale, so is available for lease or for rent. That is not the job. Agency is a professional job. It is something that requires a lot of technicalities in it. So before you engage in such, you must engage appropriate minds. And that's why if you look at the Harmonious Global Managerial Consultancy as an agency, you find out that there is always a room for consultancy where you could be advised. Sometimes some of the persons might need these properties, not because they want to make profit out of it, but because they needed accommodation. They needed an apartment. Maybe they were staying at a certain place. Now they want to relocate to a place where it will be their personal property. Now, to that end, there are also some kind of advice or counsels that should be issued out. So even when you acquire such properties, you're there comfortably, and you can actually keep in touch with the agent for even the next 50 years as time goes on or as life carries, especially when you deal with some ventures that whether they are there or not, it is automated and you are secured for life.
Okay, Dr. Obiene, is the agency you're talking about, do they have a professional body that regulates their functions and their registration as professionals?
Yes, they have professional bodies. But now with this, to this end, once you say a professional body, it means that it is an agency or maybe a group of professionals that is registered with the CAC, that is with the Nigerian body that regulates or maybe gives authority to that for that body to function. But to this end, we are not talking about the professional body. We are talking about the person you're dealing with. I don't know if the picture is clear. What it does is that it creates a guide to also let you know that if on the long run, there shouldn't be a room where somebody is frauded, which will bring a dent to the body in question. But again, when someone is indulged or is engaged in a certain form of business, the integrity of that business is a key, and the personality, the name of that business is what will tell if that business will grow from generation to generation.
Okay, doctor, please highlight to us what's the name of this body, the professional body that regulates the activities of agents in land banking.
In Nigeria here, there is a body that is registered for real estate agents. Now that body is recognized. But what we are saying is that if, for instance, you want to go into land banking and you decide to consult the professional body, for instance, are we together? You would have succeeded in still having that same job done.
What's the name of this body?
In going to mention a body, it could be used. Are we together? If you're in the leadership of that body, you can actually discuss about the body. Are we together? So I don't want to go into those aspects, because tomorrow, if something goes wrong, somebody can quote me, someone can reference this discussion that we're having now, and I don't want to do that. I can only guarantee the one that I know of and I am in.
I understand, sir. Dr. Obiene, what are the dangers associated in land banking?
Okay, yes, if you look at within the sector, because the sector is actually a lucrative sector, so there are some group of them that knows themselves, and they've created a lot of platforms, even on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on various social media, where they tend to advertise their products, that is availability of lands and buildings and all of those structures. Are we together? But we are saying that even when such is there is a need to consult people like us to actually look at that which you want to invest in. And sometimes those people that might neglect people like us, when they have some issues and it is brought before us, we actually say to them that they were dodging our agent fee. If you dodge our agent fee, you will be exposed to the challenges on the field. But if you secure that, you find out that those fears will be taken care of.
Okay, sir.
Those your fears will be taken care of, because what we actually issue out is peaceful possession. Not when you pick up a property, tomorrow somebody is charging you to court, or maybe one community is after the land, or they have sold it to 3, 4, 5 people. That's the essence of that agent fee.
Okay, we have been discussing with Dr. Ajenala Monia Ibieneye, a land developer and an expert in land banking, and he has been helping us to demystify land banking. This is still Housing TV Africa, and our next question for a professional as a guest is to elaborate for us what are the evils of land grabbing associated in land banking.
Now, you see, when you embark on a certain venture like land banking, you would also come across some situations of land grabbing. Now, this land grabbing issue, they are also syndicates. And the way they function is totally, to my mind, is evil. But that's where they make their profit from. I'll give an instance. They can step into a community, and when they get into the community, they tend to have a certain form of agreement with the community, or maybe the CDC or the king or whoever is in charge of the land that they want to dispose of. Now, on that note, they might go into some terms of agreement to say that we'll pay a certain amount, and after this payment, we would, as people are coming to buy, we'll be remitting. With the sincerity of heart, I've gone into the agreement. These people begin to sell the land, not remitting back to the community. And so the community, as a result of that, will frown at the situation and then say that whether you buy from those people or not, don't step into our land. And now when you're trying to encroach into the land, you are in a means trying to grab a land that is not your own, unknowingly to you. And when you embark in such things, sometimes you could be arrested. Sometimes you can be jailed. Sometimes the community can also say that because you have paid a certain amount, the amount that you have paid, that is a portion of land that is being apportioned to you. You can do whatever you like with it. But these people who will go and do a lot of advertisements on radio, on TV, on social media, sometimes get some naive, I call them naive celebrities. Naive celebrities in the sense that if somebody is inviting you to do an advert on a land or a property, you should have known the roots of the property. Are we together? Now, if you don't do this and you now go there and then showcase your face, and because a lot of people have confidence that for you to be a celebrity, you would have been someone who is a public figure, and what you say, you have actually scrutinized it, and you cannot just come out to speak publicly when you're not certain of what you're saying. As a result of that, some of them might follow those things they've heard on radio, on TV, and then fall victims. If they are victimized, it doesn't mean that because somebody has duped you, the person should give his land to you. It doesn't work that way. So, as a result of that, it is left for you to ensure that when you want to deal, you deal with proper minds, irrespective of whoever is in question. You must ensure that you have a proper mind. People who have dealt or would have been in the situation, in the system, because experience is also key. I don't want to go ahead now and begin to call some names, but there are some names that are known, that are criminals. There is recent judgments against them because they went to grab lands and they've been selling the lands, and people are going to occupy the place, not knowing that those lands were grabbed. So to that end, it doesn't mean that because you grab the land, the owners of the land or the community will now forfeit their land because you carried millions and gave to a thief. No, it's not done that way. So it is good when things like that about taking place, it is good you consult some minds like us. It will save you a whole lot of trouble.
Okay, sir. Dr. Ajena Lamonia Ibieneye is an academic of the University of Port Harcourt. I want to ask you, sir, what drove your passion to delve into land banking, into real estate development?
You are trying to say that as an academician, yes, as one with a PhD, true. Again, one driving from University of Port Harcourt to University of Port Harcourt, yes, as a member of the University of Port Harcourt Alumni Association. These are the advice I would give. If you're told of a land and you want to purchase that land, or a building, or an hotel, schools, there are various building structure within the land banking. Any of these that it has fallen into and your attention is called onto it to buy, that person might just be what you call, or what we call, a facilitator. There is a need for you to reach people like us, bring to our notice that there is such property that you want to purchase. All it entails is our agent fee. We will be able to look at that property holistically and give you the best advice concerning that property. And if you follow it, I can assure you that you will know that it is a venture you should go into. But if you go otherwise, you begin to experience there are a lot of stupid stories around people like this. Sometimes you see that they go as far as killing people just to grab their land. They go as far as threatening people. They do all kinds of things just to keep people away from their legitimate properties. And sometimes when the documentations are to be done, there are keys. The legal persons are the persons that will actually prepare those documentations, the drafting aspect of it. But when it comes to the technical aspect of how to secure that property, then you cannot do away with the agent.
Okay, that's the much we can take on Inside the Real Estate on Housing TV Africa. We have been discussing on the topic, demystification of land banking. And our thanks goes to our guest for today, a real estate developer in the person of Dr. Ajena Lamonia Ibieneye. Thank you, sir, for joining us on Inside the Real Estate.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We're always there.
Okay, you can view us on Star Times channel 149 and also follow us on all social media handles, like, share, and comment. And also download our app on Housing TV Africa and Google Play Store and Apple Store. Until we come your way, same time next week, I am Raymond Ken Mbata. Bye for now.
Housing TV Africa.